God zone, jewel of the South Pacific, all is not well. The dreaded gray peril, mediocrity, is sweeping the land. In the capital, mediocrity's promoters, politician, bureaucrat, and speculator, congratulate one another on their success.
Well done, chaps.
I think we've pulled it off.
There's hardly a thing left standing that isn't mediocre.
But wait. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's Architect Man. Is it too late for our hero to save us from mediocrity?
All is well, folks. I come to build you cities undreamed of, buildings to ennoble the spirit, churches to uplift the soul, a better house for every God's owner, homes to foster dignity.
Listen, who is this guy with the smart ideas?
Good heavens, we can't have this sort of thing. Someone might hear.
What's he saying? Ideas like that are dangerous.
Something must be done.
Stop him, shut him up, buy him off.
Buy him off. Listen, lad. Life's not like that.
What? People are happy the way they are.
Oh, we're doing all right.
Look here, old man. How about a new suit? Clean yourself up a bit.
How about a new car, Big A? Save all that flying around. Yeah, or a holiday at Surfers.
Look, come with us, lad, and we'll look after you.
Give you a new job and we'll all be happy.
How about a nice big office block for me, old son?
Or a beauty beach subdivision, eh?
A couple of supermarkets, and you'll be in the JC's, no trouble. Who knows? Batch it, Topo. The sky's the limit.
Is it too late? Will Super A get off the ground again? Who knows? Who cares?
Architecture can be all these things, and many more, aesthetic or otherwise. But above all, architecture's about people. For if a building doesn't work for people, it'll never transcend the sum of its parts.
Well, I don't think anyone would quarrel with the idea that the town hall is the best large building in the country. It's a superb piece of architecture.
It's dour and pompous. It leaves no room or possibility for anything messy or informal, anything human, you know. And like Christchurch itself, it's very formal and a bit dull, and you know, it's quite appropriate, I suppose.
I like it because it's big and makes me feel as though I'm living in a city, and that's exciting.
I think it's hideous, and all it does is block other people's views. And like most high-rise blocks, it's based on banal ideas about organizing people.
I think it has a certain beauty. It's cool and it's crisp. What beauty it has is a sort of drawing board beauty. It's very ugly, I think, from where most people would see it from underneath.
Does what it's supposed to do. I think it provides maximum utilization of the land it's built on. I think it's as good as anything you'll find overseas, and I think that's something to be proud of.
Just the same as anything overseas. I mean, what way does it relate to New Zealand? You know, you have to ask, what do buildings mean? And with most of these things, they're about power and profit and prestige, and they look about as ugly. It's the motives that built them.
It's obsolete. It's an earthquake risk and it's uneconomic. The sooner it's down, the better.
Well, it's priceless in terms of our past as a really very good example of Victorian architecture. And I'm quite certain that it could be renovated and used again, you know, for many years to come.
My name is Brent McIntyre and I live in Plympton, and I have one brother and one sister and lots of cats and chickens and things. This is a picture of our house. It's a good house because it has a milk bottle tower which is good for hiding and playing ghosts and things.
Yeah, I like it still a lot, and it's got a chance of growing with those people or continuing with others. What we're trying to do in a house like that is to create an atmosphere of respect fairly quickly by using second-hand materials, by using elements which we see in houses which are much older than that house, and hope that the house gets an aura or a feeling which has no age or no relativity to it. It seems to have grown into the land very quickly, so that after 2 years, it'd be hard to decide when it was actually built. It's taken on a sort of stability which many new houses don't seem to take on very quickly.
I just don't understand it.
The thing about it is that it livens up the neighborhood, and that's good.
Woolsheds. Well, woolsheds are woolsheds. That's all.
Well, woolsheds are the New Zealand building, to my mind. They're simple, they're functional, they're honest. They're symbolic of where we are and what we are. And unlike most of the more conscious things we build, they seem to fit into the landscape, you know. They look good. They belong.
think it was a very successful building. It's become a symbol of something for its time. It's well executed. It retains the sort of mystical feelings which one would expect of a building produced for the Roman Catholic Church. It's taken on an ageless quality, which I think is a point of a good building.
To my mind, the Fortuna Chapel is one of the great small buildings in the world.
Yes, that's fine, but it's what's inside that really counts. It's the people and what they're doing. That's the essence of Fortuna.
Tēnā kia tau I hutarangi Māria e te aroha nui ma te whakapainga tango heu karaiti rungi a koutou ki te ngota matua, o te tamaiti, o te wairua tapu. Āmene. Haere tonu e te whānau, kia noho ai te raro I te manakitanga o heu karaiti.
Cities, where we live, where we are, our place. Cities, physically speaking, collections of buildings. For many, this built fabric of our cities is becoming increasingly dreary, and our place less habitable as a consequence. The built environment seems to be facing a twofold threat. On one hand, the wholesale neglect of a heritage of good architecture, its replacement with ever-multiplying, faceless development. In the centres, bleak monuments to forces seemingly beyond our control. And in the suburbs, a choice of expensive pretension or anonymous box. What alternatives can we point to? Perhaps one answer to the international non-entity our cities are acquiring is an indigenous architecture, a national New Zealand style. In housing at least, there can be seen possibly 3 movements in this direction since the last war. The first had its origins in Auckland in the early 1950s. A group of young architects began to build consciously simple, functional houses, often using cheap materials and featuring such New Zealand characteristics as verandas and a lot of timber work. Often rigorously austere, these houses were unkindly labelled cowsheds at the time, but 25 years later still have qualities of timelessness that distinguish architecture from mere structure. Then, in the early 1960s, came signs of a renaissance of good building in Christchurch. Often using white block, raw concrete and stained wood as basic materials, these houses seemed appropriate to both the English character of the place and its extreme climate. Again, here was an obvious sympathy with an earlier tradition, particularly the steeply gabled houses of early Canterbury. Finely detailed and proportioned, they've given birth to a host of similar dwellings, particularly in the South Island. And now a new and vigorous romanticism, fresh echoes of a colonial past, strange, joyful shapes in the hills of Wellington. The modular house, perhaps one answer to both the housing shortage and the inferior standard of design prevalent in the suburbs. Because despite mass production, the factory-built modular house can be well built and well made. And because of mass production, it can be cheaper. Because of its modular nature, the layout of such a house is almost infinitely variable and can be varied at any time according to the owner's changing needs. If the children leave home, sell the bedrooms. What the modular house can offer someone building a house, in fact, is architectural quality while dispensing with the immediate services of an architect. One way to avoid the demolition of our past is renovation, recycling the obsolete for new and exciting uses. Both these buildings, once shabby and inefficient, now serve a variety of new functions, from restaurants to barbershops. Perhaps another answer is to reject builder, architect, developer, the lot, and return to the old New Zealand do-it-yourself. With somewhat less stringent building regulations, the possibilities are only as limited as one's imagination. But basically, the way to really improve our cities is for everyone, for you, to think again and to do something about the kind of environment we're building. Drab building is the result of a dull and apathetic social climate. For all our sakes, and for our children's, we must learn to look inwards at the city and find the answers. Alternative ways of living together. Alternative ways of building. New ways of preserving the uniqueness of our place while building for our future.